started. Let me switch on and start the recording as well. The question is the LCM of 6 raised to 4, 8 raised to 2, and k is 12 raised to 4, where k is a positive integer. Find the smallest value of k. Show your steps. Hmm. So first of all, let us find the LCM of 6 and 8 first using prime factorization. Oh, last year, lot of challenging questions were there, which is not coming in this year. Let's see, no problem. Same chapters are same, 6 and 8. Okay, so we will use prime factorization. So LCM of the two number is 2 into 2. But we are not taking that. We are taking 6 and 4 first. Okay, so 2 twos are 4 twos are 8 threes are 24, correct? Hmm? How to start you understood because they are dealing with LCM. So we already know that 6, 8 and k, the LCM is 12. They have given in the question. Can you see that? LCM of 6, 8, yeah, 6, 8 and 12. 24 is already an LCM of 6 and 8. So 12. So for the LCM of all the three numbers to be 12, k will reduce the LCM from 24 to 12. We have to reduce the LCM from 24 to 12. This means k must be the factor of 12. So what are the factors of 12? Chalo, let's write the factor of 12, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12, isn't it? Yeah, the factor of 12 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. Now we need to check what can be k here. Yeah, so if we have to find the LCM of 6, 8 and ha, so the LCM will be among these numbers only. So if I take K as a 4, like 6, 8 and 4. So LCM of 6 and 8 will be 24. Is it possible? Mm-hmm. See, we have to find out which are the multiple of all the three numbers and which is divisible by all the three number as well. See, if the LCM of 6 and 8 and 24, and after adding k, we have to bring it down to 12. Then k should be a common multiple of 6 and 8, but it should be less than 12. Ha. Yeah, which is the smallest? What will be the smallest? That means the first number. So we have used that. Okay, see. The LCM of three number is the smallest possible divisible of all the three number. Okay, see, let me write it down once again for you. LCM of 2, not 2, 6, 8, and that K is 12. Hmm? That means 12 must be divisible by 6, 12 must be divisible by 8, and 12 must be divisible by K. Correct? Yeah. Now see, 12 is not divisible by 8. Can you see that? In eights table, we don't have 12. If you divide 12 by 8, it is getting 1.5. So it is not a whole number. So 12 cannot be an LCM of 6 and 8. Yeah, so 12 cannot be an LCM of 6 and 8. So k is a number that is not divisible by 6 and 8 but is such that the LCM of all the three is 12. So if we reverse the logic, if we keep k as 12, then what will happen? Huh. So k cannot be 6 or 8, but a number that makes LCM 6, 8, and k, which is 12. But again, that statement comes that k is not a factor of 8. So there is no value of k unless this problem is like again, it is again rewritten. Hmm? So there is no answer. So we just have to show the steps. Clear? Find the smallest value of k, but it should be 6, 8, and k should be divisible by 12. 6 is divisible by 12. I can take any other number. See, suppose I take 4. I can write here 4, or I can even take 2. 2. But do you think 8 is divisible by 12? So that working we have to show, that steps we have to show here. So that will only be the solution. By the way, which chapter is this LCM? First chapter itself. Okay, then we have composite number. Show that it is from the, so only working we have to show, and we have to conclude that we cannot find the exact value of k, since it is a contradictory statement that 12 is not divisible by 8. Hmm? Clear? Okay, now here is the next one coming up for you. Show that the number 5 into 11 into 17 plus 11 into 33 is a composite number. Any idea how to do this, Rahul? Mhm. No, no. What is a composite number? Yes, multiples of 2. Correct, correct. So what you will do, you will solve this whole thing 11 into 5 into 11 into 7 plus 11 into 33. Can you notice a common number 11, which is a common factor here? So can we make it a little bit easier here? 11, 5 into 17 plus 3, na? Where is 1? I cannot see anyone. So that I took outside the bracket, na? Common, that only into 11 is common. 5 into 11, just a minute, into 17 is there, na? 5 into 11 into 17, then plus 11 is there, then into 3. So we will do 5 into 17 plus 3. Correct? Now it is clear. I was not able to scroll down. Chalo. Now it is scrolling down also. Okay. Let's continue now. 5 into 5 into 17 plus 3. 5 into 17 is, I guess, 85. 85 plus 3 is 88. 11 into 88 is Inside the bracket we got 88, which is 968. Hmm? 968. So we got the final answer. Now is 968 a composite number? Let's see. It has factor other than one and the number. Let's see which is that number 968. We just now we have splitted it. Okay. 11 88s are okay. 11 eights are and not necessary. Any prime number we can start. 11 into why we will start with 2, it will take so much time. Like see, 2 fours are 8 and 2 twos are anywhere you can get 2 na. Any prime number you can take for prime factorization. See, so is it a composite number? Yes, it is a composite number because it is in one table and it is in others table as well, like 2 times, 8 times, 11 times. So yes, it is a composite number. Easy sorted. What is a composite number? No, no, no. See, prime numbers are, for example, 5, which is only in 5's table, like 5 times 1 is 5. Whereas a composite number, let's take a number 16, which is in 16 ones are 4 fours are, then maybe other also 8 twos are. So this is 16 is a composite number, or they can be more, 2 eights are. Clear, understood the difference, Rahil? Multiple factors, that's correct. It has multiple factor. Okay, now I have another question from your previous year book. Quite interesting. Let's see that as well. The sum of the two consecutive number is 11. Find the number. Would you like to give a try? Hmm? But you have to do the working, na? For 2 marks. It is correct. 5. This is 2 marks question. So let the first number. So let the first number be x, the second number will be one forward of it, that is x plus 1, which is giving you 11. So simple calculation we can do now, which is equal to 11. So 2x is equal to 10, bringing the 1 to the other hand side, so it will become minus 1. So x is equal to 5. When the first number x is 5, the second number which is just ahead of it, 1 ahead of it, because it is a consecutive number. So it is 6. Simple. 2 marks got here. No option with this. This is an easy question. We have polynomials as well na, for this coming exam. Okay. Okay, a really interesting question again for 2 marks. We are all solving 2 marks. If the zero of the polynomial px, which is equal to ax square minus 3 bracket a minus 1 x minus 1, then find the value of a. I think we have solved this question once before as well. Mm-hmm. So if you remember anything, ax square minus 3 bracket a minus 1 minus 1. So what will be the value of a here? Hmm. We have to find out the value of a. Na? See, they have given us the question. One is the zero of the polynomial. So that is an important thing that we can start with. A of p of x, they are saying is zero. Okay. Then in place of p of x, so what we are going to write? 0. Basically, p of 1 is 0. If 1 is the 0 of the polynomial. So wherever 1 is there, what we will, whenever x is there, what are we going to put there? 1. So which is a into 1 the whole square minus 3, and a again, then minus 1, x which is 1 minus 1. And here we will write 0. Hmm? So 1 is 1a minus 3 into a 3a minus 3, and that bracket. uh, so we can use, yeah, plus 3 minus 1. X minus 1. 1 minus 1 we will do here, which is 0. No, this is near to the bracket. So X, the whole thing we have to multiply. This whole thing we have to multiply it by 1. And that minus 1 is separate. So it will be A minus 3A plus 3 minus 1. Okay, it will look like this. Okay, now we need to combine like terms. Any like terms? Yeah, A and A are like terms. So 1A minus plus 2, which is equal to 0. So 0 minus 2, which is equal to minus 2A. So minus 2 upon minus 2, which is A. So minus 2 and minus 2 will get cancelled, and minus also will get cancelled with 2. So the value of A is 1. Yeah, if you want, you can take it in your book as well. Or is confusing. Chalo. I was also reading the same. Let's see the or question, which is with the same question. This is again 2 marks, but we need to think. Okay, if one root of the polynomial py, which is equal to 5y square plus 13y plus m, is reciprocal of other. Reciprocal is numerator will become denominator, denominator will become numerator. Then find the value of m. 5y square plus 13y plus m. Okay. Mm, okay, if the root of the polynomial, chalo. If let's take the root as r. So what will be the reciprocal? 1 upon r. Hmm? 1 upon 1 upon r. Now, can we use a quadratic equation here? Reciprocal. Sorry, root, not reciprocal. And 1 upon r is reciprocal. I think we have to use the root formula here. That only root formula. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then how we will do here? What will be the A, what will be B, and what will be C? Hmm. Correct. And then what about the formula? Correct. B square minus 4AC upon. Mhm. First, we have to do product of the root. A is 5. Okay. A is 5 and C is M. Okay. So A is 5, C is M. So we have to find the product of the root. So root is R we took and the fraction is 1 upon R. So R upon C. No, there is a different formula other than the root formula here. Yeah, we have to do product r in 1 upon r, root and the reciprocal of root, which is equal to m, okay, that is c upon a. Okay, this is the formula which we have not seen in our syllabus, because maybe this has deleted, because in polynomial one exercise was deleted which was previously there, if you remember. Okay, now we know that r and r will get cancelled out. So 1 which is equal to m upon 5. So the value of m will be 5. This will not come this year, I'm pretty sure. Now clear? Ha. Now this formula we should be aware of. When there is a root of the polynomial and the reciprocal of the root, then when you multiply them, you will be getting c upon a. And we are quite aware like what is c and what is a. Clear? This we have not done. Okay, then there is a theorem which is coming here. Let's get started with the next question now. This is clear. Okay, chalo, let's prove the theorem. Prove that the line joining the midpoint of any two side of a triangle is parallel to the third side. Which theorem is this? Which theorem? Midpoint theorem. Okay, you again got confused with midpoint theorem and basic proportionality theorem. Okay, now we will do midpoint theorem. Last class recording you will see the BPT. Yeah, because we have solved some questions wherein we saw the basic proportionality theorem BPT. Okay, there the proportion, the sides are different. Here we have the midpoint. The points are in midpoint. Wait, I have a diagram for you first. Let us see the diagram. See, this is the midpoint of that two triangle. Yeah, prove that the line joining the midpoint of two sides is parallel to the third side. So this is what we have to do. Theorem is by-hearted, not by-hearted. How we are going to start now? First, we will draw the diagram that we have done. Okay. Then what we will do? We will name the triangle. That is the next thing. Let us name it as ABC, the most famous name. A, B, C. Okay. Then the point also D and E. They are saying this is the midpoint. D and E are midpoint. That means it is cutting the line AB into two equal half. AD is equal to DB and A is equal to EC. This is clear, whatever is given here. That is the first thing you will write in the exam. That is given. Consider this triangle, and then this is the line which is cutting here. Then after that, there is an construction which we need to do here. Okay, so let's see what is the construction. We will draw here and here. No, yes, we can use that also, but let's see. Now we will do a small construction EFC. We have to then after given we will write construction, extend the line DE and produce it to F. That I have done, that corner point, and such that EF is equal to DE. EF is equal to DE and join CF. That also we have done. So this is the small construction we have done. Now we get two triangle, that is triangle ADE. Okay, this is our proof. Now we will start. And triangle CFE. Let's mark it as well. ADE, this one, and CFE. Can you see the two triangles here? Can we prove this two triangle as congruent? One is vertically opposite. Vertically opposite angles also. See, AE is equal to EC. It is given in the question. Hmm? DE is equal to EF. That we have done construction. Okay. Then we have angle E, which is equal to angle E. If you look at the triangle, I am talking about this angle and this angle, which is vertically opposite angle. So these two yellow color triangle are congruent by which test? Side angle side congruency. So triangle ADE is congruent to two triangles CFE. Now this is congruency, not like the previous class similarity. When any triangle is congruent, their sides automatically become congruent, their angles automatically become congruent. So we can say that angle CFE, this one, is equal to angle ADE, this one. This is clear. Are you there? Acha, you muted. Then we have angle ECF, which is equal to angle DAE. The reason for both the case, the reason is same. And one side which was not equal, that will become equal now. Mhm. Yeah, D correspond to F, A correspond to C, E correspond to E only. Corresponding parts of congruent triangle, and there is one more side CF, which is equal to AD. So for all the three, the reason is the same, corresponding part of congruent triangle. Whenever a triangle is proved congruent, their parts become congruent, and whenever their triangles are similar, their sides become proportionally equal. Okay. Now after this, we have another piece of information. It is a big theorem. Huh? We have another piece of information, that angle CFE. CFE. Okay, that star triangle. This one I will mark it once again. Angle CFE and angle ADE are the alternate interior angle. If you could see properly, yeah, there is a transversal there. I will write the name once again. Angle CFE and angle ADE are alternate interior angle, and they are equal also. That is another piece of information which you could see here. Hmm. Now let's proceed with this. Now CF and AB, CF and AB are the two lines which are parallel now. Why we are parallel? So two lines that are like intersected by the transversal DF, and the alternate interior angles are also there. So therefore we can say that CF is parallel to AB because the alternate interior angles are parallel. The alternate interior angles are equal. So the line which is formed, that is AB, which is parallel to CF. This is clear. Why these two are parallel? Similarly, hmm, see, this angle D is and angle F are alternate interior angles. See, angle D and angle F are alternate interior angle. And somewhere here we have written that these two angles are similar also. I mean congruent also, equal also. So when the alternate interior angles are equal, the line which are formed or the angles like which are formed on that lines are parallel. And here the line are AB and CF. So AB and CF are equal. I mean parallel. AB and CF are parallel. Okay. Now AB and CF. Now instead of AB, I will cut it short and write BD or DB because it is the same line. DB is also parallel to CF. Now, if you look at this quadrilateral from which I took that small part BD and CF, which are parallel. So this small quadrilateral becomes a parallelogram. Let me write the name of the quadrilateral. BDFC is a parallelogram. Why it is a parallelogram? Because two opposite sides are parallel. Okay, which is matching with the property of parallelogram. That's the reason BDFC quadrilateral is a parallelogram. So when it is a parallelogram, their sides are also equal. So we say BD is equal to CF. This is clear. Hmm? Since it is a parallel and DF is parallel to BC because now it has become side of a parallelogram, the upper and the down side. Now DF, if I cut it short DF, the line DE will also be parallel to BC because it is D dash E dash F. It is on the same line. Hmm? Ha, ha. And yes, and one more thing, DE is half of BC, half of BC because DE and EF. DE is half of DF. Sorry, DE is half of DF since DE is equal to EF because of construction that we have already written at the start, that we are making extending the line in such a way that DE is equal to EF. So DE is half of DF and DE is also parallel to BC. I think we have proved the midpoint theorem. The midpoint theorem, what it refers to, the point on the segment, the D and E. And the line is parallel. So point like it is in the midpoint and the lines are also parallel to the third side. So we can conclude that hence it is proved. You need to be very vigilant here. Midpoint theorem is challenging theorem. It can come in exam. You did not remember the construction and Monday is your exam. Next week, no problem. We have two more. We have two more days, na Friday and Saturday. So you're learning SST now. Then after this, we have another that root 5 is an irrational number that we know how to prove it by assuming that it is not an irrational. Okay, that we will skip. Contradiction. Yeah, find the zeros of the quadratic polynomial 2x square minus 2x minus 8 and verify the relationship between the zeros and the coefficient. Don't you think it is easy? First 3 marks question. This is a guarantee marks. What we will do here? We will split the middle term. Hmm, Yeah. Okay, first we will find the zeros of the polynomial. Let's do that. Splitting the middle term. X minus 2x minus 8. So 4 2s are 8. 4 minus 2 is 8. So x square minus 4x plus 2x minus 8. Okay, 1 we took minus, 1 we took plus because we have to do subtraction. And 8 is minus 8. So now x is equal to x minus 4 plus 2. 2 4s are 8. So x plus 2 is equal to 0 and x minus 4 is equal to 0. Hmm, Correct. So x is equal to minus 2 and x is equal to 4. So now we have got the zeros of the polynomial. Yeah. So these are the zeros of the polynomial. Alpha. We will do sum of the zero product of the zero first. Yes. Okay. Chalo, let's verify now. Alpha plus beta. Oh, acha, sum of the zero. Correct. Sum of the zero we will do. Mm-hmm. Which is equal to 4 plus minus 2 is just 2. Just 2. Positive 2. Then product of the 0. Hmm. Minus 8. Okay. So is it matching with alpha and beta? Yeah. So then yes, it is verified. It matches the coefficient relationship here. Hence it is verified. We can conclude here. Okay. Now one solve the linear equation graphically. This is done now. We have verified na, and the coefficient also. Are you talking about the next one? Okay, graphically we have to show 2x plus 3y which is equal to 2 and x minus 2y which is equal to 8. Okay, so first we will, on the graph, but first we will make the table here. Hmm? So x, y. We can take more than 2 points. That is important. Now what we will do? We will put 0, 1 and minus 1. And here we will put a 0, 1 and minus 1 again. Or maybe 2 to make our life easier. We can take any value. We can substitute x, we can substitute y. Okay, for minus 1 I am doing. 2 into minus 1 plus the 3y which is equal to 2. So 2 one is minus 2 plus 3y which is equal to 2. So 3y is equal to 2 plus 2 which is 4. So y is equal to 4 upon 3. 3 ones are 3. Point 1, 3 threes are 9. Oh, it is going in point. Correct. It would be difficult. So, are you going to take minus 1? No, not a good idea. Let's change it. Hmm. 4 twos are 8. 3 twos are will be 6. Let's take 3. Let's take 3. Okay, see now. 2 into 3. plus 3y which is equal to 2. So 3 twos are 6 plus 3y which is equal to 2. So 3y which is equal to 2 minus, again it is coming in decimal point, minus 4. 6 twos are 12. 4. We have to take 4. Yeah. 4 twos are 8, then we will subtract it. Yeah. 2 into 4 plus 3y which is equal to 2. 4 twos are 8. So 3y is equal to 2 minus 8. So y is equal to minus 6 upon 3. So y is equal to 3 twos are minus 2. Quite challenging. Okay, if I take 1, 2 ones are 2. Coming to that side, it will become minus. So it will be 0. Okay, I will show it to you what I did. 2 into 1 plus 3y which is equal to 2. So 2 ones are 2 plus 3y which is equal to 2. So 3y 2 minus 2 is 0. So y is equal to 0 upon 3 which is 0. Clear? Now next one, x we are taking 0. Okay, I think this will again be quite challenging. 4. Let's take minus 4 and see. No, that will not work here. At least you have to take 3 points to be sure that whatever you have plotted is correct. Hmm. 0 if we take, then it will come in 0. Two zeros are 0. 3 upon 2, which will come in some point, 0 point something. No, we cannot take any other number, I suppose. We have to take a very big number. Let's solve this x minus 2y which is equal to 8. See, for a line, 2 points are enough. But for us to be sure that whatever we are doing is correct, we need to have a third one as well. X minus 2y which is equal to 8. So 0 minus 2y which is equal to 8. So minus 2y which is equal to 8. So y is equal to 2 fours are 8. So it is minus 4. Okay, if I take 1. 1 minus 2y which is equal to 8. So minus 2y which is equal to 8 minus 1. So 7. So y is equal to 3.5. 3.5 we can put. But if it is going in some recurring number, then it becomes little challenging. Then 2 minus 2y which is equal to 8. So minus 2y is equal to 6. So y is equal to minus 3. Hmm? Can we take any other number here also so that we can be sure? No? Acha, acha. Okay, okay. I have another method. We can take y as 1. That will also work. Na? That will also work. 2x plus 3 ones are 3, which is equal to 2. So 2x is equal to 2 minus 3. So x is equal to minus 1 upon 2. Minus 1 upon 2 is also simple, 0 0.5. 0 0.5 we can put. Hmm? Yes, now it is correct. So that's suppose we are stuck like this, so we can use this method. Now let me put a graph paper here on the screen. Just a second. Which is the biggest number there? I think we just need the table, not the calculation here anymore. Hmm? Chalo, we have all the box also here and we can plot it. The first is zero point 0.5 and 1 minus zero point 0.5. So minus zero point 0.5 and 1. So it will come here. Hmm? Correct? Then 1 and 0. So it will come here. Then 4 and minus 2. Some still some problem. It is coming very far. It should come a straight line. This is not correct. Yeah, it should be a straight line. Let's check another one. 0 and 4. Achha, it was 1 and zero point 0.5. Oh, yes. So 4 and minus 2. 1 and 0. Okay, 1 from the x axis and 0 from the y axis. Okay, next one will be 1 and 0. Okay, it will come here. And then minus zero point 0.5 and 1. It is correct. Now it is coming a straight line. The green one is the first equation. Now let us see the next one, 0 and 4, 1 and minus 3.5, 0 and oh yes, 0 and minus 4. So 0 from the x-axis and minus from the y-axis. Let us make it little darker. 1 and minus 3.5. Correct? 2 and 3. Oh, some problem. I think this. Mhm. Okay, chalo, let's solve this one. X we are taking 2 minus 2y which is equal to 8. So minus 2y which is equal to 8 minus 2 which is 6. So y is equal to 2 3s are 6. It was 3 minus 3. Yeah, it's correct. 2 and 3 is correct. I think 1 and minus 3.5 is not correct. Let's check that one also. 1 and minus 3.5. X is 1 minus 2y which is equal to 8. So minus 2y is equal to 7. So half of 7 is 3.5. 2 to 4. Okay, let's change the value and see. Let's take y. Y as 3. 3 twos are 6. So 8 plus 6 is, oh, that's a big number. Why we are taking so big number? Let's take it 1. 2 ones are 2. So it will be minus 2. We will bring it to the other hand side. 2 ones are 10. Okay. So if 10 is the value, then 0 and 4 we marked. 2 and 2 and minus 3 we have to mark. 2 and minus 3. Okay, then 1 and 10 we are going to mark, which will be quite higher. It won't get a straight line. Hmm? No, it won't. Chalo, let's change. Let's take y. 0, 1 and 2. So 2 into 0 is 0. So x will be 8. Hmm? If I take 1, 2 ones is 2, that is minus 2, so it will become 10. Then 2 twos are 4, 8, 8 plus 4 is 9, 10, 11, 12. Chalo. Let's mark all positive only now. 8 is 0. It will come here. Now it is a straight line, but it will come here like this. Okay, it is a straight line, but it is coming here, and there should be a point of intersection now. Uh-huh. Let's do it in the Cartesian plane only. This printed one is not good for me. Let us do in the Cartesian plane, that would be much better so that I can scroll. Okay, let us plot all the points which we got here. So first we got minus 0.51, minus 0.5 and 1. So it is here. Hmm? This is point A for the first equation. 1 and 0. 1 from the x-axis, 0 from the y-axis. This is B. 4 and minus 2. 4 and minus 2. Definitely we will be getting a straight line. So the first one we got the straight line already. Hmm? You can see my graphing calculator. Na? Okay, now let us plot the second equation. The second equation was x minus 2y, which is equal to 8. So we got first 8 and 0. We got a very big number. That's the reason we came to this screen. Where it went now? 8 and 0. So it will be here. Correct? Then 10 and 1. It will be here. Then we have 12 and 2. Chalo. Now let's connect it. No, what we imagined was not the correct one. Huh. But what is the solution? Where they are meeting is the solution, na? That only we wanted. That's the reason we were plotting. What is the solution? 4 and minus 2. 4 and minus 2 is the solution here. So x is 4 and y is minus 2. Easy sorted. Okay, we will use graphing calculator. That is much easier manually, other than manually graphing it. Okay, so that was all that we have done. We will continue in the coming class also. Same paper we will continue. Okay, last year question paper from your school.